Hi everyone, welcome back to the Clara CFO Group channel. And I'm really excited today to talk to you guys about a new project that we have started, and that is the Financial Clarity Podcast. So we've had this YouTube channel now for a while and it's doing really well. And we were thinking that something that would be really cool to kind of layer in and provide another free resource for small businesses is to start a podcast where we can have conversations with successful entrepreneurs, experts who help service-based small businesses, and other people that have, financial knowledge that will be able to expand upon what we're doing here on the Clara CFO Group channel. So we've actually started a sister channel. So there's another YouTube channel now, and you can go and subscribe to it right away. It is called Financial Clarity Podcast, and that's where our podcast conversations are going to be recorded. So if you'd like to watch those in video format, you'll be able to see the guests, you'll be able to see all the facial expressions and things that happen. Sometimes, pointing to things in the room and whatnot, but it's a little bit more fun sometimes to actually watch a conversation rather than just listen. But if you're a listener and you love podcasts and you just want to do that, you can go and find Financial Clarity on all of the podcast platforms. You'll be able to find those on anywhere that you listen to your podcasts. Type in Financial Clarity and we should come up as one of the top search results there. So that's number one, is I wanted to tell you guys that is a new resource available for you. And with that, over the course of the next couple weeks, I want to just give you guys little snippets of those conversations. I understand that a lot of the audience here on YouTube, and specifically this channel, is not used to having hour-long conversations in their feed. So that's why we have separated, and we have a separate channel. If you want to opt into those, 45-minute conversations, 45 minutes to an hour, that's where those are going to be. But on this channel, we're going to give you guys just little snippets, and we're going to introduce you to the guest by just like pulling a piece of wisdom and knowledge from their story and sharing it with you here. So hopefully that makes sense. We would love to have you subscribe to both channels, but if you prefer one over the other, that's totally okay. Also, if you're a podcast listener, again, we'd love to have you subscribed on your favorite podcast app. Another thing that can be super helpful for us is if you give us feedback and review the podcast. The Apple Podcast, for example, likes to promote the podcast to new listeners if it has reviews on it and it's rated well. So if you can give us some feedback on the podcast, that would be super helpful. Okay, well, I'm going to show you a clip now from my conversation with Amalia Martino. And Amalia is actually a client of ours. She runs an agency that does multicultural communication for large organizations. And I think one of the things that was really great about this conversation with Amalia is just how she leads with curiosity and she leads with culture. And she's an amazing person to work with, for one, but I wanted to just pull out this little bit of our conversation so you guys understand a little bit more about the types of conversations we're having on the Financial Clarity Podcast. So enjoy. Tell us a little bit about the culture at the Vida Agency, because I know that's really important to you.
There's certain things that are really important to me as a person. So selfishly, we talked about when I freelanced for a long time, that was a time of no health insurance, none of that. So when I finally hired somebody else to join a group insurance with me as a company, I was like, yes. So there's things that are really important to me in terms of taking care of people. So, we have 4 weeks paid vacation for everyone. That work-life balance is really important to us. To me, I realize I'm not a boomer, but I'm a Gen Xer, which I'm realizing is what I thought was important when I started this. I am learning very quickly that, younger professionals maybe don't think the same thing. And, I have not had it all figured out yet, but, we offer flexibility. We do a hybrid. And I just kind of leave it up to each manager to figure out what your team needs to do to get their work done. As like every company, for a while, we were all trying to figure out, are we going back to the office? Are we doing what are we doing? So the balance and the personal life thing is really important to me. I think we planned a 40-hour work weeks. That's not to say sometimes you're going to work 43 or whatever, but we're not expecting our team to be in, 50, 60 hours a week. We're not overburdening our junior staff to meet some billable things. We're planning everything to 40 hours a week. we're building in, team lunches and professional development stuff. We're providing all the benefits. That's like, as we started to grow, I started folding in more benefits. So like IRA and the IRA matching and the PTO. And this year we decided, okay, we're actually or last year that week between Christmas and New Year's, we're just going to be closed moving forward that week. So trying to be a little flexible and responsive to what people want as much as I can. But that balance is really, it seems like such a luxury to me to have work-life balance. But the definition of work-life balance has changed so much from the pandemic. So that culture is really, I think in the community work we do, the other thing that we are really intentional about is that hierarchical set. I think agencies can be very hierarchical. You have like a
partner,
you're going up and down the line. And I think I try to give autonomy. No matter what your position is, you have autonomy to do things, to make mistakes, to ask questions. As the team grows, I would say like this time last year, I was in everything, right? I was answering things and talking to things and problem solving things and reviewing things. And as we're growing, I'm kind of pulling out of that a little bit. But, I hope that people express, and it's my goal that, it's not like my door's closed and you can't come talk to me. Like we're equals. I am here for you. It's not like the VP is unattainable or not to be spoken to, like trying to level out that hierarchy. Hierarchy it's a characteristic of white dominant culture. Hierarchy is. And so we are really cognizant of what are the other characteristics of white dominant culture that we want to actively at least think about, right? Yeah. Urgency is another thing. Like, is it urgent? Is it really urgent? Right? Like, what is urgent? We want to be responsive to clients. We want to, but that pressure, that high pressure urgency thing, we try not to let it run our days. Not to say that things aren't always urgent, but if you're always working under a sense of urgency, your nervous system is always up and you're always stressed, and like, for why? Just because it's built into our culture as a norm, right? That hustle culture.
Yeah. And that's exhausting and it can definitely like decrease satisfaction at work, like in a major, major way.
Totally.
I've worked in some environments like that before. Well, that's really interesting. I never heard that before, that the hierarchy was kind of more of that white dominant culture. So that's really,
I have I'll send you some information.
Yes, please do. I'm very curious now because I'm like, what else is there? Because I think that's like something that I appreciate. I can see that, working with your leadership team and sitting in on those meetings and even seeing like the meetings where like all your team comes together. I see that actively. So I'd say like you're trying to do it, but you're also succeeding in that. So
I never feel like, is it something you can see? It's.
You can almost like feel it sometimes in companies when they have that versus when they don't. And when people feel open to actually say something regardless of, their level or status at a company. So I like that.
No, I just think like our directors, the people that work here are just, most of them are so much smarter than I am. Like I would just trust them to stuff. They're so brilliant. And I feel like we are so much better when they can just have autonomy to do things the way that they need to do it, to manage teams the way that they need to do it, to hire to the teams, to work with you on, profitability of a service or whatever it is. Like it's so much better. And then they feel really successful and really empowered. And it's like they're running their own little companies within the company, which is great. I love that. I think it's great.
Well, and I think that concept of hiring people that are smarter than you is something that actually takes like a good bit of like humility to be able to do, I think, as a leader. Because I think there's like this sense that if you're the leader, you need to be like the top. So it kind of becomes that hierarchy again. But I myself like have found like, no, I want to hire people that are actually better at this than I am, even if it's CFO services. Like I would like to hire people who are better CFOs than me.
Yeah.
Because the trust that it allows you to give is so amazing. And you just know that somebody can take something and run with them. And you don't have to sit there and micromanage it from your perspective. But you do have to have a certain level of humility of like, well, this person might come with a better idea than me.
Yeah.
And that can be very freeing.
So I imagine that you are like me, where you like to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm always learning from whoever's walking in to talk about something. I'm like, I would have never thought of it like fantastic idea, right? Like, yes, let's do it.